keep winding time down, Norristown may not get the ball back. And that's what Coach Iacovetti is doing right now. Use as much time as possible, and it's a smart move by him. He has the game in his hands right now. He just got to make sure his team converts and that he makes the right calls.
Well, you know, Greg, you only need 3 points here, right, to win the game. If they, as this game winds down, they're at now the Eagle 32. That would make it almost a 50-yard field goal, which in high school sports is rather unheard of. But if they can pick up 15 yards here, in this last 228 remaining in this ball game, their kicker was out before the beginning of the second half, practicing a bit. They've got a kid who can make it, you know.
The tough thing is that on a day like this, you don't want to have to depend on your field goal kicker. And that's one thing that Coach Iacovetti's got to be thinking right now. If they do kick a field goal, he wants it to be as short as possible.
2nd and 7 for the Colonials. The Eagle 32-yard line is the line of scrimmage. They go with the handoff around the left side to Frank, and that's a nice gainer. I'll tell you what, they sold that play well. Fulmer doing a great job directing the offense, and Frank very close to a first down. That's a big, big play on 2nd down.
And misdirection play has been successful for them in this second half. They keep running whatever running back decides to come off to either side. And, you know, give credit to Chris Frank. He's not one of the guys that, you know, we've heard about. He's probably about 4th on the running back depth chart, but he's the guy who's doing the job. And now on 3rd and short, they have a great chance of getting the first down and moving the ball forward.
Absolutely, and they have been money on 3rd and short today.
There's the money reference.
That's right. They have been money on 3rd and short. Same play, Frank in motion. He's got it. First down, picks up 3.
Good initial contact. Unfortunately, Chris Frank spinning off of that and getting forward.
Gutsy play, though, I'll tell you what. Instead of the quick hit to Justin Pratt, to go with that misdirection again, gives the defense a chance, if possible, to make a hit in the backfield, but didn't happen. That's big yardage right here. Now you're at 1st and 10 from the Eagle 24. Now you're talking about a 41-yard field goal. Still pretty long for a high school kicker, but you're within striking distance. And you've got 1:25 to play. It is really, really working just the way Joe Iacovetti would like it to at this stage of the game. The Norristown defense needs to come up big. There's penetration on the blitz. They go deep to the corner. The pass is up. Elzar Campbell, stripped away. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a play. Troy Swittenberg and Sheldon Gray on the double coverage. Folks, I am telling you, Elzar Camper had that ball in his hands as he's coming down. The Eagles strip it away, and Sheldon Gray comes away with it.
Elzar Camper's thinking to himself right now, this is not my day. He had the ball. It was in his hands, and somehow that ball got knocked out and into the hands of Sheldon Gray. A huge defensive play. Now Norristown's got it, at 107, and now you have the ball. You got to be thinking to yourself, okay, that's great. But 2 yards out of your own end zone, you've got to be careful right here. You can't lose the game 2-0. Get forward, use your time, maybe go to overtime,
That's right.
Win it there.
Go to overtime. Yeah, the only thing Norristown wants to do is to avoid a safety, avoid a turnover. That's the 4th takeaway for the Norristown defense, and 2 huge ones here in the 4th quarter. Audley Stewart, the quarterback keeper, just surges forward for a yard. That's the play. You got to play for overtime here. You're not going to march 98 yards with a minute to play. You dodge a bullet like that, you got to use it to your advantage.
I've got to be thinking I'm thinking to myself right now, Coach Iacovetti's got to be ecstatic with everything his team's done, ecstatic that he's in this game, but he's got to be kicking himself that this team cannot convert deep down in Norristown territory. Norristown's come up with huge defensive plays. They go to the air right there. The running game's been so successful. I don't know why you need to go to the air right there. I think that's a bad call.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was going for it all on one play, and it came back to hurt him a bit. Audley Stewart now, again on the quarterback keeper, surges forward. That's Audley's best gain of the day. With 18 seconds, that'll be the last play. First down for Norristown, but that's of no consequence, really. We are winding down. 16 seconds, the clock will stop as we move the chains. But 1st and 10 for the Eagles will eventually be the last play of the regulation game we've had before us today, and we will go to overtime on Thanksgiving Day.
Give Audley Stewart a lot of credit. He has got so much tape around that ankle. He has been looked just so bad in the 4th quarter walking, and to think that he can surge forward for 10 yards and get himself a first down, get out of the end zone, an unbelievable play.
Well, I guess this is one of the things you have to do. They're actually stopping the clock for a measurement. We called it a first down, but I guess it's fairly close to a first down. I can tell that guy in the white hat that all Roger Grove's going to do is a quarterback keeper again and run out the clock, and we're going to overtime. But it is a Norristown first down. It was very close by about 6 inches. Audley Stewart gained the yardage necessary to pick up the first down. Well, I'll tell you, Greg, it's that Thanksgiving Day mystique. You come to Roosevelt Field on Thanksgiving Day, you're by and large going to get a really exciting football game, and this game has been really exciting, especially here late in the fourth quarter, where the Colonials have had 2 great opportunities, and Norristown defense has stepped up. Swittenberg involved in both of those plays, the great pick off the tip ball to end the prior drive, and then this drive with Elzar Camper, as time runs out, with Elzar Camper seemingly with the ball on the 1-yard line, and somehow it came down in Sheldon Gray's hands. And I couldn't tell if it was Gray or Swittenberg that caused the strip, but it was a phenomenal play.
Both of them were there, and it looked like Swittenberg might have hit him, might have gotten a hand in there to pop it out. Sheldon Gray was over there too, and if Elzar Camper had brought that ball down in between the two of them, that was obviously the game. They're at the 1-yard line, they punch it in, that's the ball game. Now Norristown's thinking to themselves, you know, it's tied going into overtime at 0-0. Let's try and, this is great. We're in the position we want to be.
Now, if we go to overtime here, Greg, high school football with an overtime format for us. Can you help me out on what the standard format here is? I believe it's 4 downs to score. Is that right?
We go to 4 downs, and you start from your 10-yard line, I believe. And each team has 4 downs to try and score points. All you got to do is get a first down, and you got yourself a touchdown. You can kick the field goal. However, with the coin flip, that will determine what you do. You probably want to be second, because then you can determine whether or not, if one team doesn't score, all you got to do is kick a field goal.
Right. Well, it'll be interesting. I'll tell you, it's and this will go back and forth until we have a winner. Is that right?
Correct. We could go as many as they want to. The one thing, of course, that you can't do is on a fumble, there will be no returns back for touchdowns or anything like that. Interceptions, that won't happen. Each team gets their 4 downs, and then we go from there.
Well, I'll tell you, it's an exciting format, that's for sure. In this stage of a very exciting game, you hate to see one team lose. Both teams have really played incredibly well. Norristown dominating the first half, the Colonials dominating the second half. It has been a very well-played ball game. Save for those turnovers, the Colonials could be out on top here.
But this is the way it should be. This is the top 2 teams in the league going at it for the title. And this is exactly the way everybody would love to see it happen. This is the one that people will talk about, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of press coverage about this game.
So on Thanksgiving Day, on what has been a soggy morning, the weather seems to have broken a bit, and the Colonials and Eagles have gone to overtime.
And Jeff, keep the turkey in the oven for 15 more minutes.
That's right. That's right. So it'll be 4 downs for each squad from the 10-yard line to see if they can punch it into the end zone or put it through the uprights. And as you said, Greg, the real key is to win this toss so that you can go second in all of this and know what your imperative is when you're down there with the ball offensively. We want to remind you for a final time that this game has been brought to you by the Norristown Area School District. Mr. Tony Koya is the Director of Communications. Mr. Sam Galbraith has directed our show today. He has been ably assisted by our cameramen, Mark Stong and J.J. Sprouse. And I'm Jeff Brandon along with Greg Fry. It's been our pleasure to bring you a great high school football game.
You glad you came back for this one?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And right now you have to look at the fact that both of these teams, Norristown has had some offensive problems in the fourth quarter, but they also haven't had any room to work. So Norristown, in their minds, they have to be thinking, okay, we haven't had room to work. Now we have room to work. Let's do some things. PW, on the other hand, has dominated on the offensive side of the ball probably this whole second half. They just haven't been able to put points on the board. I think they've gotten a little bit too aggressive once they've gotten within 30 yards and tried to do some things that they shouldn't do. They need to just keep punching away. They can get themselves a first down by running the ball 4 times, and that'll get them into the end zone.
So the captains meet once again at midfield. For Norristown, that's Jameel Butler, Trey Hadrick, Troy Swittenberg. On the other side of the ball, it's Tim Fleming, Matt Ramey. Also look like number 3, A.J. Carter. And I couldn't catch the 4th captain for the Colonials. But this is a critical time, folks. We'll wait to see how the referee calls this for us from down on the field.
Even if that guy did have a microphone, you wouldn't be able to hear him from the great Norristown High School band.
That's right, under the fantastic direction of drum major Gabe Savage, who's received some great acclaim for himself in recent weeks.
So Gabe just won the ACC Championship Best Drum Major, and I believe that's the 2nd year in a row. So congratulations to him. And of course, standing down there in the coat and leading the band, they get to play for 15 more minutes.
So Norristown won the toss there, Greg, and it looks like Norristown will go defensively to begin. So that's critical to all of this. Norristown won the toss, and they elected to defend. Norristown won the toss, they elected to defend.
At this point, there's nothing to lose, Jeff. You have to go, you have to go at full steam. There's nothing, just leave it all on the field. Go after everything. Every play, you've got to go hard, and you've got to want it more than the guy you're standing opposing to.
Well, I'll tell you, it all comes down to this. The fellow who has really been the workhorse for the Colonials today, number 27, Justin Pratt, has done a great job on short yardage. My guess is you're going to see Pratt get the ball here. We have not seen Travellini a great deal today involved in the offense. It's been number 1, Chris Frank, number 27, Justin Pratt, led by their quarterback, Steve Fulmer, who has really done a good job today. It's a shame the few times he's gone to the air, it's really cost him. The 3 times they've gone for the end zone, he's been picked off all 3 times.
And he looks like a real great quarterback. I think he's just been in bad positions to throw the ball.
Be interesting to see how Coach Iacovetti comes out right here. They send 3 wideouts, really spread the defense here. Fulmer on first down, the quick hit up the middle to Pratt. Terry Powell and Eric Benitez in on the tackle.
That's huge. The first play of this overtime period, you want to make sure you make a big play. You want to be the one to get the edge in overtime. And really no momentum either way going into overtime, I think.
And it looks like the Colonials are using a timeout here. I believe each team gets 1 timeout. So the Colonials have to rethink that strategy. I'm sure, Greg, coming out of there, you've got a 4-play sequence. You know, well, we're going to get 2 on this play, 4 on this play. We're going to bang it in on 3rd down. Now you've lost ground on the initial play. Or actually, I guess they called it no gain, no loss on the play, right back to the line of scrimmage. So it's 2nd and 10.
Like you said, Jeff, you've got to be thinking as a coach, these are the 4 plays that I'm going to run. These are the 4 plays that I practice during the week, just in case something like this happens. You know, we've gone over this, let's use it. When one of those gets stopped, all of a sudden the other 3 don't look so smart. Then you have to do something else. So now Coach Iacovetti is giving his team 5 more different situations that they have to know at this point.
So the idea, folks, is to get it into the end zone one way or the other, either by touchdown or by field goal. The Colonials now faced with 2nd and goal on this overtime offensive series. The Eagles stepped up nicely on that first play. We'll see if the Colonials change the strategy here on their 2nd play from scrimmage. We see a different offensive set, everybody in tight this time, except for Elzar Camper. Now they split it out. They put Travellini in motion. The quick hit up the middle. Nope. They faked the handoff, and Norristown didn't go for it. I did, Greg. I thought it went to Justin Pratt, number 27. I could not see because of Fulmer shielding the ball with his back. But I'll tell you, the Norristown defender's great penetration was that Benitez through the middle there for the tackle.
He's the guy in the middle, and he's the guy that's got to stop the play, and he's done a great job today. He has not allowed big, huge gains and for them to clear him off the ball. And now they push him back close to the 20. An amazing defensive stand for Norristown. And really, I think Coach Iacovetti blew it on 1st down by going with that aggressive call. I think he really said to himself, we're going to get it here or nowhere else. And right now, you know, he's paying for it. He's 3rd and 17, and he's got to do something completely out of the ordinary from his offense.
Well, I'll tell you what, they better be careful. They might get themselves out of field goal range. Another timeout, I guess you get more than one. You must get 2 timeouts in the overtime period. That's what you get, Greg, when you bring in a rookie play-by-play guy who doesn't know the overtime rules and regulations.
They didn't have overtime in your day, did they?
No. You want it on the field, right, during regulation.
Then they arm wrestle or something.
That's right. That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, that's huge, because now you figure when you walk onto the field, you've got almost an automatic field goal. You know, you've got a 27-yard field goal, even if you do nothing, you know, on 4 downs. Now they're back up 7 yards. That's a long way for a high school kid looking at that, staring at that, knowing that his team needs those points. Now, certainly it won't matter if they can stick it into the end zone right here, but you've got a critical play coming up in this ball game, and they certainly can't afford to lose any more yardage. Whatever happens, Fulmer, if they go to the air, Fulmer has got to get rid of the ball.
Like I said, Jeff, it really just seems unbelievable to me. They went away from what they did so well today. And they were running the ball well in the 4th quarter. They were pushing guys off the line. Why not keep going to it? And now when one running play doesn't work, you have to go back to the air, and you're doing something that you haven't been successful at.
This time they split Travellini and Camper. Justin Pratt is the lone setback. Quarterback Steve Fulmer with a long count. Finally, Frank goes in motion. The play action. He's going up top, going to the end zone. Swittenberg's there. Incomplete. No flags. I'll tell you, that ball was outside the back of the end zone. I don't know where they thought they could throw that ball, but that was over in Elmwood Park. That ball was so far out.
And it's great coverage once again down there in the corner. Sheldon Gray is a safety coming over, and they double-team Camper again. Just great job once again by the Norristown defense. They are making sure that they do not, you know, they don't give anything up. And now on 4th down, it looks like we're going to kick.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's great defense. Fulmer had a little too much time for my comfort there. He really had time to set up back there, but it was a coverage issue. This is a long kick. It's going to be a 35-yard field goal attempt. The kicker is number 19, Ben Anderson. The snap is down. The kick is up. It's long enough. It's good. What a great kick by Anderson, number 19. That is huge. 35-yard field goal under very difficult circumstances. And I'm sure Norristown must have been thinking, hey, we got them. They're not going to put anything up on the board. This game is ours. But I'll tell you what, the Colonial kicker really stepped up to the plate, to mix my analogies, and put it through the uprights.
You can't do much more than what Norristown did. They drove a team back 7 yards in 3 downs. Ben Anderson hit a great kick. There's nothing you can do about that. Norristown is still in great position. They have 4 downs to get 10 yards. This team has put up amazing points this year. Their least point total that they put up this year was 21 points. This is a team that can get 7. I can't see any way that they shouldn't be able to get the points out of this. And the 3 points right now are big, but you know still, as long as you go forward, you can always kick that field goal also and go to another overtime.
That's right. Matt Spitko warming up on the sidelines for the Eagles. He may be called upon if the Eagle offense is unable to get it across the stripe and into the end zone. Audley Stewart has Terrell in motion. The pitch goes to Swittenberg. It hasn't worked all day, and man, it didn't work there either. PW is pumped up, Greg. They dropped Swittenberg for a 4-yard loss. Well, I'll tell you what, they had everybody out there blocking it. It just didn't matter. They were keyed so hard on Troy Swittenberg, he didn't even have a shot at getting back to the line of scrimmage.
And what the field goal does is it pumps up your team. You lost 7 yards and you're thinking to yourself, oh man, we're in trouble now. They kick the field goal, all of a sudden the momentum swings back to your side, and now the pressure's on Norristown.
Called a 3-yard loss. 2nd and goal from the 13-yard line. They go into the shotgun here. Stewart looks up top, good blocking, across the middle, Hadrick, intercepted, no! Oh, wow, almost the game 2 ways. Trey Hadrick thought he had it for the win, and then the defender thought he had it for the victory for the Colonials. I'll tell you what, somebody should have caught that ball.
That ball was up there way too long, and unfortunately, no receivers open. Only Stewart looking over the middle for Trey Hadrick, but he was in double coverage. That's a tough throw to a wide receiver, and a guy that hasn't run a lot of patterns this year and gotten the ball in the air.
Well, I'll tell you what, talk about a swing of momentum. It looked like the Norristown defense had really put the Colonials back on their heels. Ben Anderson with a huge kick to give them 3 points on their offensive possession. The Eagles come back. First 2 plays, Swittenberg dropped for a 3-yard loss, and then that dangerous pass across the middle. Hadrick thought he had it, and then I thought the Colonials had it. So the Eagles faced with a key play here, obviously no more important play in this game than the one coming up right now.
And it's important for Norristown that they get positive yardage right here. They've got to get forward and not force Matt Spitko to kick a 30-yard field goal. They've got to get forward. You don't necessarily have to get into the end zone. Just get the ball towards the end zone. And if it happens to get into the end zone, even better.
And I'll tell you, Greg, there really is a nice crowd here on a wet day, and the crowd is on their feet urging the Eagles on, and certainly the Colonial fans on the far side of the field trying to inspire their defense. All right, we're ready to play. Quarterback Audley Stewart has Troy Swittenberg in the backfield with him. They have 4 wideouts in the pattern, including Trey Hadrick. They look right. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. The only thing you don't want to have happen is a sack, and that's what happened. It's now going to be a 42-yard field goal attempt. Audley Stewart had intense pressure, came from the blind side. He never saw it, Greg, and he was absolutely punished. And they are now down at their own 25-yard line, a loss of 12 yards on the play. Oh, my.
A very aggressive call by PW. They came with the blitz off of the corner. Audley Stewart never saw it coming from his blind side. He had 4 receivers. When you put 4 receivers out there, that means you don't have much blocking. He's got to try and get rid of the ball quicker. The receivers got to get open for him real quick, and it just didn't happen. And now you're forcing your kicker to do something that's virtually impossible.
Wow, I'll tell you, Matt Spitko really has the pressure on him now. The one thing, Greg, and you said it right before the play began, the one thing had to be positive yardage. They lose 12 yards on the play, and Spitko now forced to kick a 42-yard field goal on wet turf. Darn near impossible. If he does it, he's a hero. If he fails to do it, the Colonials emerge as victors in a hard-fought Thanksgiving Day matchup.
And Jeff, even if you do lose a yard on that play, it's not bad, but you can't lose 12. That's an unfortunate break for Norristown.
The holder, number 13, Ryan Blake. The kicker, number 14, Matt Spitko. It all comes down to this, folks. High snap, Spitko. Oh, it's blocked. Game's over. No chance. The Colonials win a very, very hard-fought game on Thanksgiving Day here at Norristown's Roosevelt Field. Wow, what a finish. Congratulations to Coach Joe Iacovetti and his Colonials, who now gain a share of the Suburban 1 League Liberty Division crown. That will be shared by the Eagles, the Penridge Rams, and the Plymouth-Whitemarsh Colonials. What a game. Folks, it's been a pleasure to bring you this Thanksgiving Day contest. Greg and I'll be back in just a moment with a quick wrap-up of today's events. We hope you've enjoyed being with us. It has certainly been an exciting finish. The Colonials, the victors, 3-0. Our final score, 3-0. Plymouth-Whitemarsh up on top over the host Eagles here at Roosevelt Field. Greg, what a game, what a finish. I'll tell you what, that overtime period was all you could ask of it and more.
It was one of the most exciting games that I can remember here at Roosevelt Field. It's really upsetting, though. It's the end of your season. I hope it doesn't take away from what Norristown did this year. They had such a great season, but to lose to PW and to lose the whole title, in the last game and in that fashion, it's got to be depressing for the kids who worked really hard on this Norristown football team.
Well, I think you have to agree that the weather was a factor today. It was a wet, rainy, soggy day, and Norristown's offense really never got on track. They did play well in the first half. They had some opportunities, were unable to convert, but the Colonials shut them down in the second half. The offense really was non-existent.
Well, give PW credit. They are the first team to shut out Norristown this year. They are the first team to not allow at least 21 points to Norristown this year. This is an amazing performance by that defense. They came in, all they heard about was the Norristown offense and how they put up points. This is a team that wanted to prove that they can play defense. They've given up a lot of points to some teams, but really they've played well this year. Give them a lot of credit. Norristown offense, they were a little stagnant today, and they came out in the second half, and they really didn't have the same intensity on offense that they had in the first half.
Well, I'll tell you, Troy Swittenberg picked up the yardage he needed for a very, very impressive personal accomplishment. But as I mentioned earlier in the game, I'm sure he would tell you he would trade that for a win today, which the Eagles were unable to achieve. But Swittenberg really was a non-factor in the second half. The Colonial defense keyed on him to great success throughout much of this game.
Well, and unfortunately, with success comes more concentration on you. And defenses, have come in and said, okay, we're going to shut down the running game, beat us in the air. Norristown did start to throw the ball a little bit, and James Edmonds had a big game for him today. Unfortunately, Troy Swittenberg just couldn't get it going. He never had that real open holes that he could find. The defensive line was getting through to him enough. It was just a tough game for him, and it's really upsetting that he got the 5,000 yards but couldn't come out a winner, because really over the past 2 or 3 years he's shown that he is a winner.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's very, very interesting when you look at the course of the game. Norristown certainly had some breaks. I mean, they had 4 takeaways today. They only had 1 fumble themselves. It was kind of a key fumble, though, because in that first half, the Colonials, Bob Travellini had fumbled a ball out there. Was it the kickoff?
Oh, kickoff.
It was the kickoff. I'm sorry. Eagles had a huge advantage in that they had the ball at the Colonial 19-yard line, and on that first set of downs, fumbled it right back.
Well, unfortunately, 3 of the 4 turnovers were within the 10-yard line, and the defense really got a lot of credit for stopping them within, getting that deep in their territory. The 4th turnover, however, is the one off of the punt, and that's the one you have to take advantage of. They were 30 yards out, and that's really one that you have to punch in. You have to say, okay, the momentum is ours. We've got to put points on the board no matter what we have to do. Field goal, touchdown, anything we have to do to get in the end zone. And unfortunately, Norristown just couldn't do that. Give PW a lot of credit. Once again, they stopped them when they had to. And they really rose to the occasion in that overtime period. I'll tell you, Norristown looked like they had done just that by pushing the Colonials back to the 17-yard line. Ben Anderson, the place kicker, a fabulous boot from 35 yards to put it through the uprights. And then Norristown just unable to move the ball forward on their own offensive possession in overtime. And it was that defense once again. But the Norristown offense, there had to be something a little bit better that they could have done. They stopped Troy Swittenberg on first down. You almost knew that they were going to go to Swittenberg. Yeah, I think you have to keep going back to it. And unfortunately, on that pass play on 3rd down, you have to get rid of the ball. And Audley Stewart knows that, and he knows it was a mistake to hold on to the ball. But when you look back at it, it was a tough position to be in. When you still have to go 12 yards on 3rd down, in overtime, just make sure you get forward. You have to run some kind of play. Norristown didn't go to their fullback at all today, Lou Samba. And that's something that I think Norristown should have done on that first down play. Get him to go forward for 2-3 yards with the big body, and then work from there. It'll open things up. It'll put PW back on their heels. And Norristown didn't do that. They never put PW on their heels, really thinking to themselves, I don't know what they're going to do next.
You're right. Samba didn't have a single touch on offense today, and the Colonials did a great job keying on Swittenberg. Tough loss. There's no 2 ways about it. And the Eagles have had 3 tough losses this year. As you said, though, no discredit, though, to their